Welcome all to the Red Pill. I am Mike, and with me is the host, Paulo. How's it going, brother?
Hey, Mike. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Red Pill, the show where we talk about mysteries, alternative history, and the so called conspiracy theories. That, as you know, they often end up to be confirmation theories. And tonight we talk about the alleged moon, alleged moon landing. And I remember a time when NASA was amazing and nobody could ever doubt it. You could never doubt those things in the past because you would be considered, I remember this at school, university, you would be considered automatically dumb.
Yeah.
Today, I see a lot of people in science itself that say, yeah, maybe not all of it is true because NASA lies. So I have a question for you guys. Do you think that is it possible that there is an incentive for NASA to lie?
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
absolutely. Funding.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What is the incentive?
Money.
Funding.
They're doing what SpaceX does, but they were doing it 10,000x more expensive. You know, so
and accomplishing a fraction of what SpaceX has.
yeah, so money for sure.
And what happens if they're caught? They get
Nothing.
caught. Okay.
When have they ever gotten caught?
Okay. So you're saying that I have a system that if I lie, I benefit from it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if I don't lie, I don't get the funding, the money. And if I'm caught lying, nothing happens.
Yes.
Well, that's a good system, isn't it? I would like to work with something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm allowed to lie as much as I want. I'm incentivized to lie. And if I'm caught, nothing happens. There's no.
I don't want a system like that. I want people to be punished when they're full of shit. I don't want people to get away with lying and just get paid more and more for lying. That's bullshit.
That's politics.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You see that dumb bitch Elizabeth Warren getting asked questions in front of that elevator and somewhere in the halls of Congress where, a journalist is asking her like, hey, so what do you think about all these illegal aliens voting in New Jersey? And she was like, well, it's illegal. I was like, no, fuck, it's illegal. Of course it's illegal. But what are you going to do about it? She's like, well, there's already laws in the books. It's like, oh my God. Dude, these people vote for her. That's why she's unwilling to speak out against it.
Oh,
because, I mean, look, how many millions of people vote illegally? It must be millions. It must be. It's got to be.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You guys understood perfectly what I said because I think it's a systematic problem. And that happens in politics. What happens if a president is caught lying and he does a bad job? He has a lot of incentive to lie so he can get elected. Once he gets elected, what happens because of all the lies? Not much. Everybody know. Oh, you were talking about Elizabeth Warren. I was watching The Node earlier and you guys were talking about Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows that there's something strange about all those picks, this stock trading.
No.
She's a better trader than Warren Buffett.
Strange. I mean, it's obvious. I mean,
and Paul Tudor Jones. David, didn't she outperform Paul Tudor Jones?
Well, her track record is better than Warren Buffett. It's like her husband is supposedly like an investing genius, and it just so happens that she's a major politician that spent decades in Washington and knows all the inner workings and has all the connections and stuff like that to know basically insider trading. To know whenever a Wells notice is going to be served on a company or an institution. Now, she knows when a company's in trouble. She knows when something that's going to affect the stock price of something. And but of course, if you ask her, she never discusses those things with her husband. But somehow he's this investing genius.
David, let me ask you something. Because I remember one time you made a very, very compelling case.
All right, hold on. Paulo, what's boa notte?
It means good evening.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
boa notte.
Good evening.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I invited some friends and people that say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna talk about the moon landing." So maybe they're like a few, and they got super excited for some reason. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it seems that gold bugs and Bitcoiners, they're kind of conspiratorial themselves.
I don't think that. Look, I think that the term conspiracy theory was created by the CIA,
It's a
and just so that
psyop.
you, it is just so that they could throw shade on anyone who speaks the truth. Yeah, man. But Paula, what were you saying about gold bugs and?
Before that, I remember you made once a very compelling case saying the following. Let's say that you are inside, that's what you said. Something I'm gonna say with it with my words. You said, let's say that you work inside the Fed and you know for a fact what's gonna happen with the interest rate, if it's gonna go up or down. Even if you have that information, how are you sure that you can trade on it?
No.
Maybe in poly market you could.
No. I mean, yes, if it's a binary option and it's yes or no and it's outcome based, yeah, you could trade on that. But if you know that interest rates are going to go up, down, left, right, sideways, or in circles, if you have that knowledge ahead of time, you still don't know how the market is going to react to that information when it drops. So
Correct.
just because you know does not necessarily mean that you know the outcome. Unless, of course, you're trading on polymarket. Here's
It
an
definitely
example.
increases your odds, though.
Maybe. I'll give you an example, though, you guys. Imagine you knew that Google last night was going to release earnings and they were going to beat. And imagine if you knew that ahead of time, that they were going to beat. Well, if you had gotten long, you would have gotten wrecked.
That's
So-
exactly what I'm talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
but what about on trading places when Eddie Murphy, got the orange report? It's he knew, and they were able to freaking corner the market, and they made a bunch of money, and it was a happy ending.
Yeah, true. Market psychology can be a weird thing sometimes. Sometimes good information is bad, and sometimes bad information is good. And so just knowing what the information is ahead of time does not necessarily mean that you can trade and make money off of it.
It's not a
Right.
guarantee, but it's definitely a leg. It definitely can be a leg up.
Most of the time, I think it probably is, especially when it comes to earnings or, information releases like a non-farm payrolls report. If you know that data ahead of time, then yeah, you can definitely trade on it. And what's her face?
Well, like if you knew
not-
like an investigation was going to get launched on a company or a CEO or something like that, or there was going to be like a massive class action lawsuit filed, or what I
Right.
mean.
That's a good point.
It's something and that's something that politicians would have an inside track on, and it's to my understanding, it's not illegal, and that's kind of why that bill that just passed the House today. Where it passed the House. It's going to the Senate next, and we'll see if it passes there and if Trump signs it. But it supposedly puts some somewhat strict, punishments as far as if any of them are caught, trading. Like they can't own stocks and stuff anymore if it passed. They can own like ETFs and things like that, but not stocks.
I'd like to see that actually get signed into law.
I would too, but
Yeah,
I'm from Missouri. Show me,
show me, right?
show me, motherfuckers. Show me.
Yeah.
Okay, so
until
so
it gets signed
maybe
into law,
so
I
maybe
don't
the odds gonna go from 60 to 70, 70 something if you know the information ahead of time. Also, depending the quality of information. Let's say that you have like a tiny little company that's gonna merge with Google. That's
Yeah.
probably very good for that small company, and that's probably gonna be a green day,
Yeah,
Potentially.
especially if you have a stop loss. Like you have a stop loss, right?
yeah, no, yeah.
I guess
Put
it
a,
was
put a,
stop-loss.
yeah, no, that's a
Go
good
on,
point,
right?
Paulo. Is like if you had some inside news, like or some inside information like that, and you put a tight stop loss,
Right.
put a decent amount of money. If it goes to the upside, you make a bunch of money. If it goes to the downside, you lose like 3% or something like that.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's not always going to help you. So here's an example. if you were to have gotten long Google before the earnings, let's say that you knew that they were going to come out and beat, and you got long Google and you had a tight stop, that wouldn't have helped you. The
Why
tight
not?
stop, well, because when the market opens, it gaps down, your stop gets run, and you get filled at the market price, which is well below your stop.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I did not know that.
Can you say that again, David? It was a bit too quick. And
Sure,
there's
sure.
a guy saying like, "I'm not Mossad," so I got a little bit
He-
distracted.
he's saying that it's important to fill the gap.
Sure. So here, check this out. I'm not Mossad. Jeff, oh my God, did you see Dan Bilzerian and that other guy, the half Mexican guy? Did you see them talking shit to each other?
Nick Fuentes.
Fuentes, yes.
Yeah.
Did you see them
Oh,
talking shit to
no.
each other on X?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, that was comedy. Both of those guys are like a quarter Jewish, and they're both talking about how much they hate Jews. It's fucking hilarious.
Dan Bilzerian almost died at like a couple times, I think. He had like
Dan
heart
Bil-
failure, heart attack, like 2 or 3 heart attacks. Something crazy.
Really? Wow.
hmm
I didn't know
All those
that.
hookers and blow, man.
I was about to say, man, isn't he like 5'2" or some shit?
Come on.
I
Really?
think he is, man. I think he's like 5'2" or something like that.
What they
Maybe-
call a short king.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, but yeah. So, Paulo, if I knew what Google's EPS was going to be prior to the report yesterday evening, if I had known ahead of time what the EPS number was going to be, they beat. They really did beat. You really have to dig into the report to see like why they beat, but they beat. So if you knew that number was going to be a big beat ahead of time, and you had gotten long prior to the market open of today's session today, and you had a really tight stop, that stop would not have helped you because Google opened and gapped down. And so your stop would have gotten triggered, but it would have gotten triggered at the market price on the open. So it doesn't really matter what your stop was. You would have gotten filled at the open, and that would have been a big loss. So even if you had known what the number was ahead of time, it still wouldn't have helped you in that case. Generally speaking, though, having market moving what do they call it? Not market moving material, non-public information. If you had that information ahead of time, generally speaking, it would definitely help. That's why it's illegal to trade on information like that. So, I would love to see Congress people be unable to trade on material, non-public information. But again, Mike, show me.
How
right?
do we enforce that?
I mean, I think the SEC has they monitor everything. So they'd be able to see okay, this senator, or this congressperson, bought a bunch of call options prior to an earnings announcement, or bought a bunch of stock prior to some vote in Congress. Okay. So they would be able to see that for sure.
But from your understanding, you're saying that you believe it's technically possible. If you have a good quality information of what's going to happen, you can trade on it and make good money.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at SAC Capital. That guy, whatever his face, he's one of the most successful traders on the planet. And, the scuttlebutt on the street was that he was trading on material, non-public information. So,
yeah, what we were saying, Jeff, is because I started with the following question. We're talking about the alleged moon landing. And my question was, is NASA incentivized to lie? Because what do you think? Do you think they're incentivized to lie?
I mean, at this point, having let's call it a cover up, if it was a fake moon landing, of course, because that would destroy trust in everything, the whole institution. That's a decade, that's a 60, when was that? 69,
1964 or 1965, something like that.
So a 60-year lie that they've been perpetuating.
Well, they admitted that there's UFOs. They admitted that the government, U.S. government, had a part in the JFK assassination. Basically, they've basically admitted, to every conspiracy theory that everyone, like Paula was talking about, that everyone back in the day got mocked. I mean, if you, if you thought that, well, I mean, that there was that Mel Gibson movie, what was it? I think it was called Conspiracy Theory. And it was a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you watch it. But he was, basically he seemed crazy, and he sounded crazy because he was part of an experiment where I guess they dosed him up with a bunch of LSD or something like that, but he all the stuff that he was saying was actually true. And there's a lot of people. I remember as a kid, there was a lot of people out there that said that the JFK assassination, the CIA had a part in it with, the Cubans and the mob, and there's all these theories, and there's all those pictures of Lee Harvey Oswald, and supposedly he went to the the USSR at the time, and there was pictures of him over there, and then there was a theory that he never came back, that like a doppelganger or a lookalike was sent to replace him, to use his passport to get into the country. I mean, there was all kinds of conspiracy theories, and then and then of course aliens. I mean, everybody knows about that one. But it's with the moon landing. I was telling Paulo before we went live. I mean, there was a lot of incentive to lie about that. The Russians had just they were the first ones to get there was like a big not
space
propaganda.
race.
What's that?
Oh, the space race.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was it was a technical superiority race. What country was better, and so
Who
Russia,
lies better?
Well, Russia had put Sputnik into space, so it was the first man-made object. They put a monkey and a dog. They were the first ones to put a man.
I think that's very funny.
Well, but they were the first ones, and they were winning.
Right.
And so,
right.
The U.S. needed a W, and so I could see the incentive, just to kind of start painting the picture of how it could be. It could be a legitimate conspiracy theory.
I have a video I would like to show you guys, if you allow me, Mike, to share the screen.
Have at it.
This video that I want to show you guys is about Buzz Aldrin, and he was saying a couple of things. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
What was the scariest moment of the journey?
Scariest. It didn't happen. It could have been scary. Should have been.
I want to be presumptuous here. I can call you Buzz. Okay.
So that's a legal name, passport,
Okay.
driver's license.
And I am Uncle Coney tonight.
Uncle Coney.
Let's talk about this because this is fascinating.
That's the guy who inspired Buzz Lightyear, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear. I think it's named after him.
I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with.
I have very hazy memories.
I know.
Well,
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen.
little girl's like, what?
Because there's no gravity. And I'm a diver, a scuba diver, and when you get down underneath the water, you're floating.
Sorry, what do you say?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, there's some very compelling evidence. There's some people. There was I forget the director's name, but there's actually, I think they even did a movie about it where supposedly he was contracted to direct the whole thing.
Is it James Cameron?
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're talking about Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, Stanley Kubrick. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what people say.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some compelling evidence, that, and then there's some of the videos, and a lot of people have, said, okay, who was it that was holding the camera? And it could have been a tripod, but basically somebody would have had to come out of the pod and come down, set up a camera, go back up in, and then stage the whole thing of him coming down, and the one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, and there's a bunch of people that show them where they're bouncing around on the surface and things like that, and just things not moving like they should in zero gravity.
How did Stanley Kubrick die?
He knew the Clintons, and
he got suicide.
And he committed suicide.
Yeah, he shot himself twice in the head and then hanged
himself.
Yeah,
with a shotgun and then hung himself. Yeah.
Right.
He
yeah,
died
exactly.
shortly after he shot that movie called Eyes Wide Shut. That
Yes.
looks very like something that Alex Jones would be talking about.
Well, dude, that Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, that's very Epstein-ish.
Exactly. And he died pretty much, not, I think, like few weeks or during. It was like shortly after that.
6 days. It was 6 days.
So it was like shortly after that.
Yeah.
That might be another conspiracy theory to look into.
Okay, have you guys ever heard of a movie called Space Destination?
No.
That was shot in 1950. So there is a movie called, I can show you guys real quick here, called, it's on YouTube. It's called Destination Moon. I'm sorry. It's a sci-fi movie from 1950. And exactly, that's on the screen. This movie, remember, 1950 was way before the alleged NASA videos that we have. And look at this movie. Do you see any resemblance to the things that are shown in this movie? For example, look at this. What's very compelling, what is very interesting about this movie is that all the imagery, everything way before man went to the moon, it's okay. Here is the most important part of this movie called Space Destination from 1950 is this image right here. NASA has not taken a picture of Earth at this time in 1950, but it was in this movie way before the official footage was released. You guys follow what I'm saying?
I think that there are a lot of ways to generate an image like this. And you got some really smart people who were working on making this movie, I'm sure. Paulo, the first thing that I took away from those clips of the movie that you were showing there a moment ago, you know what I take away from this? It's 1950. You know what I take away? It's all white people. It's white people. Where's the token black dude or the Muslim or the fucking trans guy?
And it just happened. It just happened. Like the Artemis, there was the quota for the black dude. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Odyssey, man. Like, look at that fucking movie. Like, crazy, horrible.
So I mean, kind of back to Buzz Aldrin. I mean, it's like that's pretty, powerful that Buzz Aldrin, the astronaut,
TikTok,
that he repeatedly, I mean, a lot of those clips were, a couple of them was he was, obviously very old, but some of them were, 20 years ago or so, obviously.
Why would he say that?
That's the thing is, he has everything to lose and nothing to gain by saying those things. So why?
It almost feels, for me, I would like to know what you guys think, but it seems like I'm old. I don't have a lot of time here. I might as well get a few things off of my chest. That's kind of what it feels like to me. Because I made my money. I have a legacy. Now, maybe before I go to heaven or hell, I don't know. Maybe that's the decision. Maybe that's why I need to tell people what really happened. That's what it feels like to me. Of course, some people would say, no, he just went insane, which is also a possibility. But did he go insane in all areas of his life or only this part?
That's always the scapegoat.
That's a good question,
right?
isn't it?
Oh, he just
That's
went
a good
insane.
question, isn't it?
He just went crazy. You know, it's always the easy way out. And I like to think of what about the technology? Like, I know we see the videos of the ship and stuff, and like, was that the actual ship a rocket that they sent up to the moon? And how in the fuck does that thing come back or get there in one piece?
The Apollo 11.
Yeah. How does that even make it there and back? And why haven't we been able to go back at least one time?
Because we lost the technology. That's what NASA said.
Lost it.
We lost the technology.
and the way they phoned, who did they phone?
Yeah, that's super suspicious. Yeah, weren't they on the phone with President Nixon? I think. Yeah, wasn't it Nixon?
A landline phone all the way to space? Like, you got to be.
Yeah, that's very suspicious.
Unless they had, like Wi-Fi or something back then. I know the government has technology, decades in advance.
Did it have cassette tape in 1969? Or was it vinyl? Because they had vinyl, but at the same time, they were able to go to the moon and live stream, not for a guy, but for the whole world.
Live stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna call
it was live.
Yeah, or at least that's what they said. But I'm pretty sure that they were actually recording like a screen at like Houston.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So it was President Nixon. He was speaking to the astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, and he was sitting at his desk in the Oval Office at the White House while Armstrong and Aldrin were standing on the lunar surface. Okay. So yeah, that's what the official story is anyway.
Or you can't even get cell phone service out of Mike's place.
Can you not live stream from there?
I don't know, maybe.
Without a phone service? But they were able to do it on the moon.
Oh.
If I drive down, I live in a small town in North Carolina. If I drive down, I lose service. Not in the moon. In 1969.
You guys talking shit?
All the shit. Talking all the shit.
Hey, Paulo, how far are you from Greenville, South Carolina?
Like 2 hours away.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. I live in a small town called Murphy in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So
right on the border.
Russo 4025 says the U.S. landing on the moon was a psyop to make the USSR go bankrupt. I've heard that theory. My brother that just walked behind me, he agrees with that.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, right? Look, a communist dictatorship allocating all of its resources to try to beat the U.S. into space.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, great way to make them go bankrupt for sure.
Yeah,
and it worked.
I mean, look, they were trying to do it recently. When they tried to do all the sanctions and stuff on Russia, and it's an economic warfare. The Chinese, they've been trying to do it to us for quite some time. Trying to wage economic warfare.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to share another clip with you about what Jeff was saying about Apollo 11. You guys remember this Apollo 11?
Oh, let's shit! Who's the wizard?
I like this guy already.
Right? Isn't that great?
Hey, Paulo, hit the see the two arrows in the bottom right hand corner of
yes.
Expand.
One
like
more.
This?
There you go.
Expand all the way.
There you go.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, hit play. I want to see what the wizard thinks.
Yeah, what's he wearing, man? Oh, dude,
heavy.
that's a Louis Vuitton.
He's a wizard, man.
Okay, let's look what he says. Let's listen.
Landing hoax speed run. Ready? Okay, let's see. There's no stars in the background. Why is that? Obviously, this is all just tape. I've seen conflicting opinions that either dust would not get kicked up or it would get kicked up and never settle. So which one is it? Well, where's all my science nerds at? There's no dust whatsoever on these. Tell that the foil here was tucked and wrapped, and it didn't land here from outer space. There's no dust anywhere on this. It was tucked and wrapped right here. Why isn't there any wrapped right here? I'll tell you why, because you couldn't get your fingers in right there. This suit could not protect you from the harshness of space. I got a lot of kickback when I said that the moon casts light. Evidently, you guys have never been outside during a full moon, but the moon does, in fact, cast light, and there's no light being cast right here. It's so painfully obvious. You would never just see the edge of the horizon on the moon unless they're on a mountain, which they do not claim that they were. This is obviously just tape wrapped tightly around padded tinfoil. These are just stupid paper buffers. See this right here? See this? This is bent paper. Where is the fuel being stored for these four? I assume there's 4 thrusters, 1 on each corner. Space is a vacuum, so any opening where thrust was coming out, all the fuel would just get sucked out instantly. And if you were actually floating and using thrusters, if this one was at 98% and this one was at 100%, it would throw you into a death spin and you would never be able to recover. This is all just paper and it's just bolted on and it's loose and there's holes in it and there's cracks and it's warping. What is this? Let me zoom out. What is this? This serves no purpose. It's just a black piece of cloth, not a special scientific instrument. It's just not. Get over it. This is one of my favorite parts right here, is you can see all the gold tape holding this other piece of tape on the back of what appears to be a breaker box. The crotch of the astronaut suit, it's just a zipper. It's not going to protect you against the harshness of space. And of course, my favorite, there's no stars. You know why there's no stars? I'll tell you. Because if you've ever stared at the stars and they tried to fake it, it would be too obvious.
You know, the dust thing is I've never thought about that. There should be dust on the feet of, it should be covered in dust, right?
Because I mean, if it's coming down and the thrusters are pushing that moon dust up with very little gravity, I mean,
dirty at all,
dusty as shit. So a lot of that should have had.
If you check my car on my driveway right now, you see dust, you see dirt, you see a bunch of stuff, and I'm not going to the moon.
So you've been to the moon, Paulo? Is that what you're trying to say?
Right?
No,
so,
he hasn't, because it's all dusty.
That's right. So
even like if you drive any kind of vehicle, you see that
things that he said that I could debunk. I don't think that it was accurate. Like be able to see like mountains in the distance and like that the spacesuits couldn't protect somebody in space and stuff like that. Because I mean, there's very similar looking spacesuits that they use now, and they do just fine. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that we went to the moon, but
but don't you have a hard time believing that thing launched from Earth, landed on the moon? Not only that, it was launched back to Earth. Don't you have a hard time looking at that thing and said, that was what happened?
The thing that I have a hard time with is that with the issues that they had, like with the journey. They didn't have computers for the most part, and communicating, with Earth. I mean, there's a delay, in the response. Like you say something, it might be 5-10 minutes later that they get it, and then 5-10 minutes to get it back. And so
it's 1 1/4 seconds.
Oh, that's all it is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that's not as fucking important as I was making it out to be. But I mean, what I was getting at was that, compute power, like a cell phone.
They were using vinyl.
Well, but the cell phone that you carry around with you now is more powerful than all the computers that they had back at that time. And so there's a lot of complex math, that would go into, and especially if you had issues, like I forget which Apollo 13 that had the issues with the CO2 scrubber, supposedly. I mean, imagine that they're trying to fix something that complex, on the fly, and so I don't know. I find it highly unlikely that they were able to go to the moon because, again, like There was nothing important enough at the moon that we haven't been back since.
Was the problem that I have is the lighting. That's the problem.
Okay.
The lighting
That's
looks
clearly
funky.
artificial lighting.
Well, I don't know, but what is kind of funky is, okay, what's the temperature on the back side of those guys' spacesuits, and then what's the temperature on the front side? Because it's lit, so there's a shadow, so we can see that the back of them in that little clip that you had there, Apollo. And so when it's showing that dude from behind, right, he's lit up. And that must mean that the sun is lighting him up. So that means the backside of his spacesuit is what? At like 200 degrees C? And then that means the front of his suit is at like what? Minus 120 C? So like, that's kind of funky to me. That
they soaked it in sunscreen.
I don't know. How long did they spend supposedly on the surface of the moon? Like
it wasn't that long. I mean, it was like I mean, we could look it up, but I'm wanting to say that it was like maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Oh no, it's
that's
more.
A long time.
It was more than that, because I mean they had that moon buggy, and
that is a long.
You're playing golf
time.
there.
That's
another a long time.
That's another thing. That freaking like moon buggy, and they had all that, all that different stuff, and supposedly they left.
My neighbor has a better buggy. Probably you do, Mike.
What's that?
My neighbor has a better buggy.
A battle buddy?
No, my neighbor has a better vehicle to explore around.
Better buggy. Okay.
So how long when so can we agree that the that space station that NASA had for like a couple of decades, not Mir, that's the Russian one,
International Space Station,
the ISS, right?
Yeah.
So when astronauts have done spacewalks on the ISS,
yeah,
how long have they spent outside of the ISS?
There's some of them that have spent a substantial amount of time. Actually, I'm going to look it up. Go ahead and keep talking.
I'll tell you what I have a hard time with. Because, for example, we are on a globe, alleged. So we are on a globe. So
we're going to go into flat Earth.
We're going to get there. Listen, hear me out. Hear me out. Listen. So we live like in the globe, all right? Which is moving how fast? Like 1,000
miles per hour.
It's something like absurd.
20,000 miles an hour or something
crazy.
Yeah,
they say it's like 33,000. So we are right now, of course, we don't feel it because we are not stupid and we believe in science, but we're moving like at a very high speed. Okay, so you have here Earth, and they were like on space. They left Earth, and Earth, like, it's gone, right? It's gone.
No, because it like if you have the Earth and the moon is going around the Earth, all of it is moving, and so if they leave the Earth and their trajectory, stays along with it, then yeah, they're moving through space around the sun, but inertia relative to those celestial bodies.
Inertia.
I don't follow what you're saying.
I followed. Yeah. So okay. the average spacewalk outside of the ISS.
So here's the Earth, and here's the moon, and the moon is going around the Earth, and
right.
both of them are moving around the sun. So they're moving together in unison.
Okay.
And if an object, a spacecraft, leaves the Earth, it's going the same speed. And if they calculate the trajectory that they're going to the moon, because they're not going straight for the moon, they're going to where the moon's gonna be. And so it's going around, so they're shooting towards where the moon's going to be because they're coasting. They don't have enough fuel to be constantly.
They've got a big load. They've got to shoot it at the moon, and they got to hit it.
They got to shoot that load at the moon.
That's a simple calculation, isn't it?
They're looking for the money shot, is what they're looking.
That's exactly right. They got to land it right dead in between the ice.
So
right,
exactly. But
you might say
understand, Mike, you're going through the science of it. For
you
me,
they're trying to land on the face of the moon.
That's right.
For me,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? I'm just a Brazilian immigrant. So I think in my limited brain, it requires a lot of faith to believe all that. To believe Do you believe that we actually like Earth? Oh, but don't we like go out? No, because we moved together and the moon, and we got it like right there. We got it, the right amount of everything that we need to get there. At the right time, we stay there for 20 minutes only, and then we're back.
Here we
right
go.
to the spot.
I don't have a problem with that.
I got the times. So Apollo 11 spent 21 hours, 36 minutes. Apollo 12 spent 31 hours, 31 minutes. Apollo 14 spent 33 hours and 31 minutes. Apollo 15 spent 66 hours and 55 minutes. Apollo 16 was 71 hours and 2 minutes. And Apollo 17 was 74 hours and 59 minutes.
So let me ask you guys a question. What if Buzz Aldrin is just fucking with people? Like he's the ultimate troll.
Oh, dude. How epic would that be?
Oh, my God. And he gets back to his house. He's like, oh, he just fucking starts cracking
Oh,
up.
dude. I would love to fucking have a drink with Buzz Aldrin and have him admit that.
Oh, my God.
Be like, I am totally messing with the conspiracy theorists that say that we never went to the moon.
The ultimate troll. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like King Troll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he would get a crown and a scepter for that level of
That's right.
That's actually awesome. I didn't think of that. What if he is just like totally messing with people?
He's fucking with little kids.
Well, because dude, this has been a conspiracy theory for a long time. Maybe he just got sick.
Like that little girl? He's just
maybe he got sick of just like because he's doing the public appearances. Maybe he just got sick of everybody coming up going, "Did you really go to the moon? Did you really go to the moon? Did you really go to the moon?"
We didn't go to the moon.
So finally he was just like, you know what? We didn't go to the moon.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
What if they didn't actually take footage while they were on the actual mission and it was all just that reenactment stuff that Stanley Kubrick did?
So that makes a lot of sense, actually, because imagine you're the administration back then in the 70s. You're the Nixon administration. And no matter what, even if that spacecraft crashes, you still have to make sure that it looks like it survived. So if they film it ahead of time, and then no matter what happens, they're able to say like, yeah, we succeeded. Well, that kind of makes sense, right?
For me, that's the most probable thing, because you don't have to actually go to the moon. You need to look like you went to the moon. That's
Right.
what it is. On a practical level, say, hey guys, you know what? I've been to Pluto. Oh yeah? Of course, yeah. Take a look. I got video. Let me show you.
Right.
Give me a couple
Now with
minutes.
AI.
I'll generate something that shows the four of us going to Pluto.
Yeah.
What do you guys make about the fact that they are actors? Some people say that they are actors. Have you guys heard of central casting?
They were actual freaking like naval aviators, and they were actual military guys and had military careers. Most of the astronauts back then were military.
I have a clip that I want to show you guys. That says I have a clip. I have a clip that I want to show you guys that says otherwise. Let's see this one. It's called central casting. Let's see.
Y'all gonna want to stick around for this one. Y'all remember when they said that 2 of the astronauts were central casting? Well, let's talk about it.
127th mission to the space station. Mike and Sonia, the 2 of the 4 American astronauts that are on that flight, they're right out of central casting.
So today is April 10th, and the Artemis 2 is set to splash down in the Pacific Ocean. Do you know what else happened on April 10th? Here, let me show you. And also let me show you who was part of that central casting. On April 10th, 2024, this popular TV show, Fallout, aired. Now, the thing about Fallout is, I found one of those astronauts on this show. Meet Victor Glover, who's the pilot of Artemis 2. Do you know who else Victor Glover is? Let's find out. Well, here's Victor Glover 2 years earlier as a cast member on that very famous show, Fallout, which aired April 10th, 2024. So now, when they tell you that they get them right out of central casting, they get them right out of central casting.
I don't know. That's bullshit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be him, but it's
Nah.
No, it's
Might have-
definitely
For
him.
those of you that don't know, what is
yeah. So it's, I mean, you know, that I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of.
But how? Yeah, it's bullshit. So how difficult is it for an astronaut to get a part in a TV show?
That's what I'm saying.
There's
You
so
know, it's yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I see. And then, I mean, you got guys. I mean, shit. There's fucking that dude, ultimate fucking badass. He was a Navy SEAL, the Asian guy. He was a Navy SEAL. He was a doctor.
Yes,
He
the medic. Yep.
He was an astronaut.
He's Korean, Mike. He's Korean.
Well, he's Asian, you know. but no, I mean, but the dude is fucking badass. You know, I mean, I mean, talk about I mean, shit. Imagine being like his kid and like having to freaking live under that shadow.
Oh.
I mean, and I'm not talking. I mean, he straight up. I think he like went to like Harvard Medical, or I mean, it wasn't like I got my medical degree. Like it's a small thing. I mean, but Navy, like the top of everything. Like I said, Navy SEAL, medical doctor, and then went into space as an astronaut. It's like, dude lived like 3 lifetimes, like at an epic level.
You talking about a badass, man? That's a badass right there.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is, I mean, people, I mean, do a lot of different things. I mean, hell, maybe that guy, that astronaut, is like an amateur actor. Like it's something he's been doing for a while because it's something he's passionate about. I mean,
or maybe he's an actual actor.
Well, like Jeff. I mean, Jeff, he has his full-time job and he does this, because he's passionate about it. There's people that do side gigs and stuff. So I wouldn't put too much weight into that, I guess is what I'm getting at.
What about the fact that when people were recording the astronauts, they didn't have an image? Did you see that video that the guys, they were recording them, and when they zoomed in the camera, it doesn't show the astronauts.
No.
It looked like it was a green screen or something.
No, I haven't seen that.
I got the clip. I can show you guys, but it's like several things about it. They're weird.
So you know what I noticed about that last clip, though, Paulo?
Yeah.
The black guy who was like the narrator, he has green eyes. It's got to be really rare for a black dude to have green eyes.
Oh,
That was the first thing I noticed about it.
I thought he was stoned.
He was a handsome dude. He was a handsome dude. The moon landing.
Are you taking us to Pluto, Mike?
I am. I'm generating it now. Doing
as long as it's not your
research. Okay, so here's some of the other things that pop up. So the flag is waving in the wind. So I those of you that haven't seen the video, maybe
that's kind of a big deal. That's one of the things that people always point to, Mike.
Yeah, it's just that the flag is moving,
right?
And there's no wind on the fucking moon. So like it's legit, and you can look, and it's almost like there's a wire on the top of the flag to keep it standing out. You know what I mean? It's like it almost looks like it was like heavily starched because it kind of looks like it's waving in the wind, but it's frozen. You know what I mean?
Just like the latest hair in space, they're sprayed through a brick and they're held like that.
Oh, just basically what I'm getting at is just that that it's the flag thing is, I've heard that one before. It's legit.
So, do you think they fuck in space?
What's that?
The people on the ISS, because there's males and females on that ISS.
They've actually announced that they sent a husband and wife up there to because if we're going to become a space faring species, that at some point, depending on the size of the aircraft, we're going to have to procreate in zero gravity and see if people can get pregnant and stuff like that, and because a lot of stuff changes. Like What type of people get pregnant? Well, dude, there's the 2 twins. The dill hole that's was married to this senator that got shot. That is all about gun, like trying to strip everybody's gun rights.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Kelly.
Yeah.
So he has a twin brother, and so they did a study, and so he spent like almost a year up on the International Space Station, and they ran a bunch of tests because they should be identical. They're identical twins. And so they did a bunch of tests and took samples of everything, sent him up there for a year. brought him back and then ran a bunch more tests to find out what had changed, just from being in space for a year, because, you have all kinds of different radiation, like gamma radiation, and also, all that stuff that gets filtered out by the atmosphere. Because the space station, I mean, it keeps the air in, and kind of keeps them in a safe environment, but it doesn't block everything. And so they did a bunch of tests, and I guess like a bunch of his DNA had like mutated and stuff like that. So,
well, that makes sense. He's a retarded Democrat now.
The effect, I took a long way to get there, but imagine the effect on an egg and a freaking sperm, and what that would do, with its development, that quick development. Who knows how that kid would end up?
Yeah, good question. Space fuckery.
Well, I mean, things tend to adapt to their environment. So, maybe in zero gravity with that type of radiation and stuff, I mean, maybe the baby would grow in a way that was more suitable for zero gravity, like, longer spindly arms and less, less dense muscle. Because, if you're in zero gravity, you don't need all that.
And big eyes that are kind of on the side of the head.
See where I'm going with this? See where I'm going with this?
Didn't you guys see those zero gravity videos from NASA that it clearly looks like the guys, they are being held by a harness or
yeah, I've seen a bunch of those. Yeah.
What do you make of that? Why would they need to do that is the question.
These days I can't think of anything.
Why would they need to do that?
I mean, the International Space Station, and all that stuff, I believe that's a thing. We've advanced technologically to a point that I think they can pull that off. But back in 1950 some odd, 1956 or 1955 or whatever, that's imagine like having to calculate like shooting a gun at the moon and having it just coast and land perfectly on the moon, and then do the same thing trying to get back to the Earth. And, with basically no computer, no technology, they had like a grease board and a, grease pen, and they're like doing trigonometry and geometry and calculus and shit on it, trying to, make adjustments because they only have so much fuel. If they do an overburn on any one of their maneuvers, then they don't have enough fuel to get home. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. That's the part of this whole story that I absolutely believe. Yeah. I absolutely believe they were able to do that and pull that off, no problem.
But why would they need to hold people by strings and harnesses? Because that's clearly, you just look at it and you see it.
Maybe it's like a reenactment. It's like they didn't get it on.
I got the clip. I can show you guys, and you tell me, say, okay, if it's real, why would they do that?
So
it's a legitimate question, isn't it? It's a legitimate question.
Real quick, I mean, this goes along the lines of the feet on the lander. It says no blast crater under the lunar module. So if it was landing and it was
that's right,
blowing out the dust,
yes,
there should have been disturbed area. It was perfect. Like if you want to bring that back up and show it again, Paulo, you're the first thing that you showed with the lander.
Yeah,
right
Paulo,
underneath.
Hold on.
I mean, it's like there's no blast at all.
Yeah, give me a moment.
That's a good
I got
point.
that clip.
Yeah.
They were light enough they could just float down.
so blow that up, and then let's
Mr. Wizard.
The wizard, man.
Hey, don't say that in an airport. Blow that up.
look, pause it right there.
Not get kicked
under the fucking module. There's like little bumps and like all kinds of like small debris, and the thing is blasted out and away from the landing area.
See, that has to be pre-recorded footage. At the very least,
it could be. It could be for sure, right?
Everything
makes
looks
sense.
pristine.
Okay, so this one. Take a look at this, guys.
Dun, 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 dun.
Why would he fall? That's it. But there are several of them.
Yeah,
there
I've
are
seen a
several
bunch more.
I don't
sus.
know. I mean, look at
this.
Like,
There's no
at
reflection.
one guy at the beginning, looking at his face and neck, just
look, there's no reflection when they're taking pictures.
You know how
pull
he looked.
Pull the other one up.
Which one? This?
Oh, yeah. No. What you were just showing.
Okay, this one here. Yeah. Why there's no reflection on their camera? So those are the astronauts, and they're like displaying, and they're like there for pictures. And look.
But see,
You're
they
gonna
got
see
zipper
on the-
crotches too.
Why is there a woman there? Like, look, if I'm an astronaut,
Diversity.
I don't want a fucking female on my fucking crew.
You don't see them.
There we go.
No reflection.
Going unhinged. David's going unhinged.
You don't see any of them in the
I want someone who's competent and who has the fucking muscle mass to be able to fucking help me if there's a problem. Like,
it's zero gravity. You don't need muscle mass.
I don't know, man.
Actually,
I don't want some emotional woman on the crew.
No, to be honest, women are actually better fighter pilots than men. They have better hand-eye coordination genetically.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
It's science. Dude, it's science.
I don't believe the science.
They have a higher pain tolerance, and they are smaller in stature. People that are smaller in stature can handle G forces better. So.
Did you hear that on the internet, Mike?
Before.
No, dude, I was in the military for fucking 22 years. I think I know a little something about this.
How many female fighter pilots are
What do women do better in the military than guys?
Nothing.
No, there's things that they do better.
Accounting.
Like what?
Like, for example,
tell me 3 things. Just 3. Just 3.
Clean
I'm
really
thinking
well.
about it.
We're waiting. We can wait. Just tell me like 3 or 4 things, and we'll be happy.
Come back to me. Come back.
Right.
Okay. Okay. There's got to be. I can tell you like 10 different things.
Jag.
Guys do better than women in the military.
They can argue like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
they
HR. Yeah,
they can do jag.
Mm-hmm.
There's one. Give me time. I'll come up with 2 more. Let's see. We'll
wait.
What else?
I'd rather have a drunk ass dude who's hung the fuck over than a female fighter pilot.
Dude, I've done some of my best work hung the fuck over.
Right? See what I'm saying? Yeah.
Dude, my fastest run time I ever got was 11:54 for 2 miles. And I did that when I was like hung over as fuck. And I walked up to the starting line smoking a menthol cool cigarette. And when I got done running, I came across the finish line, picked up the same cigarette, and finished it.
Fuck yeah.
That kind of makes
That's
sense
what I'm
because
talking
you're
about.
maybe like a little bit more relaxed and you were not so critical of yourself.
I'm just saying I was a degenerate and I was able to freaking do that because, in the military, it doesn't matter. If you're drunk, you might still be drunk and you might be throwing up. Like if on Mondays, a lot of people would show up to formation like hungover and like drunk as shit still. Like you could smell it coming off of people. And the first sergeant's like, all right, you guys want to fuck around? You want to show up to my formation still drunk from the weekend? Go get your flak vest, your body armor. And we'd go get those and strap on. This is when I was stationed in Korea. And out in the Vills, they used to fertilize the rice paddies with shit. I'm just going to say it. And so the smell. And you're hungover and you're already wanting to puke. And then you're running with a flak vest on, bouncing up and down and having to, call out cadence and stuff like that. It's just everybody's puking. You're running through it. It's bad. So no, it's I forget my point, but yeah, there you go.
how many women did you have doing that with you?
Most of the units I was ever in, there wasn't women.
Right.
It's a DEI hire. There's a black guy there and there's a woman there. It's clearly like a DI hire, like diversity and that. It's clearly not. It seems. I am allowed to have an opinion on things. It seems that you're not entirely concerned about the best and the brightest. It doesn't seem to be about
women. I thought of a second one.
Okay,
women
second
in the military, they do very, very well in like the medical and dental. As far as doctors and dentists and stuff, they do really well with that too.
Like nurses.
I call bullshit on that too. I'd rather have a white male doctor or dentist any day of the week.
You might, but that doesn't mean that there can't be like competent women that are able to do
rather
that.
have my friend. Let me check your.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think that women should.
There is a point
police.
to be sad. There is a point to be sad that some people, I'm not going to say I believe that, but some people say, well, let's say, Jeff is alone at home and there's a big guy outside knocking on a door and trying to get in, and he's in danger. Jeff, you call 911 and you are in fear for your life, and there's like a 5'2" woman that shows up to defend you. Would you be happy with that? Or you believe that, or would you prefer like to have a guy defend you?
I mean, if she took him out before I got to him.
Well, you mean like I think Paulo means like a police officer. Like the police show up. And, like, would you rather have like two strapping, young lads that can handle themselves, or would you rather have
strapping?
Would you rather have two lasses, show up that?
Man, I've seen a bunch of video of these women. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of video of these women in, like police officer, like female police officers that
are stronger than guys, better than guys.
No, they'll get like the criminals or whatever. They either run right through them or get away. They stand no chance.
Do they get paid the same?
A few outliers, that
there are no outliers.
You get like an MMA style woman that can handle a smaller dude. It depends on their size.
Like there's
that's
one
what I'm
of
saying.
those.
Very, very rare. But no, I would be like, where's the real police? Is this Halloween?
So everyone listening on X, pretty much everybody is watching on X. If you want to join the chat and like talk to the hosts and ask questions, pop on over to YouTube, and you can find us at Unfiltered and Sovereign. So yeah, if you're interested.
So look, I think that the thing with female police officers is if someone decides not to comply, they have to use lethal force. That's their only option, and that's fucked. Like you can't have that, man.
No, dude. There's endless videos that show that, and I don't care how competent of a woman you are. I've done.
Come on, Mike. You don't want to. That's very misogynistic. You don't want a woman to defend you.
Combatives with females in the military, and I am not like a BJJ expert or. I'm not I can handle myself, but I'm not an expert in hand-to-hand combat. And I've done, combatives with females that are borderline professional fighters, and they just cannot generate the power that's required to like seriously hurt a dude. And a decent average sized dude will destroy any woman. Watch the endless videos. There's one guy that looks like he's been doing nothing but like eating beer, eating and drinking.
I saw that video. Yeah.
Like not in shape at all. And these two like professional MMA
fighters
attack him at the same time, and he blasts one, spins her sideways. She freaking lands on the ground, and he isn't a massive dude. I would say he was probably like probably like 200. So it wasn't like he was like 260 and like 6 something. He was like my height. He was like 5'10" and like 200. But he just leveled these chicks. They were just like balling up and like trying to stay away from him at one point.
It's an important question. Were there like biological women, or were they like trans women?
No, they were biological women, professional MMA fighters, and he was some guy they peeled off a couch.
Maybe it would be better if they were trans women.
What the fuck is a trans woman?
It's a guy with a wig. It's a dude wearing a wig.
What is that?
It's a guy wearing a wig that calls himself a woman.
Yeah.
And that's clearly stronger than a biological woman.
Why has society gotten so retarded that we accept that stupid bullshit now?
I've always accepted it as long as if whatever somebody does in the privacy of their own home, whatever. But the issue that I have with it is when they're trying to, like they exclusively want to read, stories to kids, and when they
shouldn't be around kids.
Well,
that's called
when they want to have a parade half naked and in front of a bunch of kids and stuff. People used to get arrested if you like took a leak. If you got drunk, and you were taking a leak in an alley and a kid walked by, you would get in trouble for that. Indecent exposure.
Mm-hmm.
But like because somebody is trans or gay, they can parade around in a G-string or butt naked on a bicycle and a bunch of kids standing around waving rainbow flags, and it's okay.
No, it's not okay.
They're not going to old folks' house to read them a book, but they're going to go to read it to the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they want to groom kids.
Well,
that's the whole fucking point.
And there's the whole thing with the celebrities and like people who are in the spotlight who have the humiliation thing where they have to wear a dress
they magically have like multiple trans kids, like Angelina, like is it Angelina Jolie or
It's all of them.
Dwayne Wade.
It's almost like it's an accessory, like a purse dog or like a designer dress at the gala,
But their dogs are also gay.
Look at me, I have a trans. Look at me.
They groom their kids into that shit, man. It's so sad. It's disgusting. It's really horrible.
No, I mean statistically. I mean, just look at it, pure mathematically. Like, what are the odds that many kids, with just a few celebrities that like real celebrities that they're on, and the sheer volume of trans kids,
the odds are zero.
The odds are zero.
Yeah.
They have to be groomed.
They're close to zero. They're very close to zero.
They have to be groomed.
Yeah, but not in California.
No, they don't exist here in California.
You are in California, aren't you, Jeff?
Yeah.
Do you see this trend there?
Oh, I've seen quite a number of, because I'm close to San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're an expert.
You're an expert.
That makes you an expert.
I'm an indirect.
Jeff has to do package checks when he's on dates.
Bro, what would you do? What would you do if you're on a date and you get the chick home, right?
Oh, dude,
and
I won't lie. I've run
into it.
Dude, I've run into it in Thailand. Dude, there's some like they're born that way, but they're hermaphroditic. They both. But dude, so if you just saw from a distance, you'd be like, that is one of the hottest women I've ever seen.
Yeah, if you're in it, you just let it go.
But they're packing, so it's an inside joke in the military. Like whenever you go to Thailand and stuff, like, hey, make sure you do a package check. My little nephew, he just went to Thailand, and I was messing with him. I was sending him texts, with like guys in dresses and stuff like that with beards, being like, yeah, look out, freaking.
But how soon did they discover? How soon can you know?
Oh, just, I mean,
it's at birth. Hermaphrodites, it's from birth.
Most of the time, if you ask.
No. I'm saying you are in a date, like Jeff. He's going out with a alleged girl.
Yeah, go ahead.
And like, do you know in the first 5 minutes, or do you know at the end of the date when you're going to her place or she's going to her place?
Notice, Jeff, how he's assuming you've gone on trans dates.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're going out with a woman.
So obviously you're asking for his experience.
When she's taking off her clothes, you discover that she might not be a woman. And I'm asking you, Jeff, as a friend, what do you do at that point?
What you mean is if you were on a date and all of a sudden it's like, oh, ta-da, it's like, yeah.
What do you do, Jeff, at that point?
What do you do, Jeff?
Oh, man. Well, first, let me say, to get to that point, you would have to be at least kissing that person for them to be
That's a
taking
good
their
point.
clothes off.
That's a good point.
So I would be even more pissed off because I would just tell him, get the fuck out of my place.
I have a follow-up question. Does that make you gay? You kissed a dude you didn't know, but you kissed a dude. Does that make you gay?
Fool me once.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, fool me once. But no, I can tell, like, especially out here. I mean, I've never been to Thailand, and yeah, they look like, I've seen videos and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They look like women, but here,
Which website did you watch those videos?
You can tell.
What was the website that you watched?
It's called Instagram.
Okay, Instagram.
Instatrans. But you can usually tell, and I mean, I definitely look for certain features that I'm like, okay, like, oh, there's somebody at my work that looks like, I think she's female, but she looks like she's 6'4", and I'm like, your arms and legs look a little too thick for, and her pronouns on her little Teams chat are she, her, and I'm like, there ain't no way. I don't care if you are female. I'm not risking that. So I look for certain features, the hands.
But the minute that you discovered inside of your house, when she, let's call it a she, took off her clothes, would say, you just get out. Is that what you would say? You kiss that person.
Like, you just kiss her. Here, hey.
My prison pocket, man. Ain't nobody getting my prison pocket.
I'm just kidding.
Bro.
I mean, it would be kind of a funny story later, but
honestly, I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's basically, it's just be like, you know what?
Go along for the ride.
I think you need to go. I think you need to go.
Go along for the ride.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? I mean, you can
pull. I'm willing to take on.
I mean, at that point, it kind of fucked up that they didn't let you know. But what are you gonna do?
Disclosure. I think we tolerate too much. I think that I mean, look, it's not about hatred, dude. I have no hatred in my heart for these people at all. I just think that we shouldn't tolerate it, especially around kids, and especially in media. Like, it shouldn't be blasted on media 24/7. These people shouldn't be around kids. They shouldn't be in schools.
I know what I would
tolerate
do. I would give them a spanking.
David, let me ask you this, because David, you used to live in California,
You've been a
right?
bad boy. You need to spank.
Mike, you give me your XRP ball gag, huh?
Yeah,
you're gonna take that ripple.
Yes, just a big X on it, a big XRP logo on it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
David, you used to live in California. What's the difference that you see today from California compared to Florida in terms of all these things that we're talking about?
There's a lot less faggotry in Florida. There's a lot less of that shit. I mean, look, people are normal here, man. Like, I don't see I don't see like the same number of gay people or trans people here in South Florida, where I am, compared to, when I was living in outside of San Francisco, let's say. So, many, many fewer of those types of people here in South Florida that I see anyway. And I like that. I don't like being around that shit, dude. It like, homophobia is a bullshit word. Like, I'm not afraid of gay people. I just don't like them.
You feel intimidated.
Well, you're welcome to, however you feel is however you feel.
I don't like trans people. I don't like gay people. It's not about being afraid. I just don't like them.
As long as people don't go to.
Who came up with this thing that you're just afraid?
Go to violence. The only issue I have is like when it's like, if you want to be racist, I don't give a shit if you're racist. Just don't be violent. Don't wish harm on another person. It's like, you can disagree with somebody's race or religion or
you're entitled to your opinion
or whatever. And it's like, and choose not to associate with them. If you run a business, you can choose not to give goods and services to them or whatever. There's plenty of places for people to go. I don't know. I feel like that there's a point to where people need to be. I would rather know who I'm dealing with. If somebody doesn't want to, doesn't want me around because of the color of my skin or my religion or my beliefs, my politics, whatever, like dating apps, the perfect example. I'd love it when libtards put all their politics in their bio and talk about if you're America, if you're, and I'm like, and usually a lot of the stuff that they say, you can tell they're just miserable fucking people. And I'm like, thank you, because you have freedom of speech. You were able to put all that hateful shit in your bio, and now I know I'm not interested. You saved me a bunch of time. I want to know who I'm dealing with.
I don't like the word hate, because I don't have hatred for people unless they're like hurting or making life difficult for someone else. If they're committing violence against someone else or making life really difficult for someone else, I hate.
But that's why they're weaponizing those words. They're weaponizing those words. They're saying, "Oh, Jeff, no, you're just afraid." I'm not afraid.
It's deeper than that, because I mean, when they start using fascist, they start using
Yeah.
racist, they start
You
using.
just feel intimidated. No, I'm not intimidated.
Fuck, boy. You got to embrace that word. Like, you got to embrace that.
It's more than
Or I do.
intimidation. It's more than intimidation. It's psyops. Basically, what they're doing is they're trying to dehumanize, because it's easier for people to commit violence upon people that they dehumanize in their mind.
Yes.
This is something I know a lot about, just from warfare and stuff. Is and it's propaganda. It's what the Nazi Germans did when they with the Jews. They portrayed them as rats in posters. They're vermin. They're and it was to dehumanize them, so that when they started doing the final solution, that Germans were like, yeah, get rid of those vermin, because it had been ingrained in them over time that that Jews were evil. But throughout history that's repeated. Communism, if you look at where socialism and communism has been in the past, in China and stuff like that, they've done the same stuff, and it's to justify killing your opposition. And that's what's going on with all this racism. And I mean,
we're seeing that now.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, that's supposed to be this shining beacon, like legal organization that fights for minorities. It just got released like about a month or two ago that they've been funding white supremacists and the KKK to create racism, so that they could make
it was
money.
all fake. It was all fake.
Exactly. It's all bullshit.
So what city in Africa are you like, I can't wait to go to this city in Africa because they've built such amazing infrastructure and it's a beautiful place and I can't wait to go there?
The city that Elon Musk was born.
There's some places that I've gone but they're historical. Like I went to Egypt and saw the pyramids and all that stuff. I always say Madagascar, but I mean Morocco. I would love to go to Morocco just because of the history. Some of the architecture, the history there. There's, with a lot of the places I've been, there's like the deep history.
Weren't those places Christian when they built that shit?
No.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Well, what's your point, David? I got curious. Where are you going?
Well, how much of that, I've thought about that, David, and how much of that Africa not being as developed or so shitty is because of government control and corruption and rogue actors that have kept that place in a desolate shithole for so long.
Well, let's look historically. I mean, if you actually look at history, and it is accurate as it may or may not be, but what we know of history is, if you look at much of the architecture, like in Spain and things like that, a lot of the mathematics, just because of geography.
I call bullshit on that too.
Well, no, the Middle East, the Silk Road that came from China went through, kind of Israel and, that whole area. That was a crossroads between Africa and Europe. And, you had the Mediterranean right there. You had the Silk Road that came in that brought spices from India and China and silk. And, so all the greatest minds congregated there, because that's where the knowledge, as people passed through, they didn't have, cell phones and social media and newspapers and stuff like that. So the way knowledge was passed was face to face or written on a scroll or some shit. And so that's why, the Library of Alexandria was in that area. That's why there's so much history there. But, if you look at it, a lot of the architecture still in Spain, is, it was Muslim controlled for, like, I want to say it was like hundreds of years.
Until the Crusades, which were totally justified, by the way.
David, you were teasing us with this question. Where in Africa you want to go? And it seems that you got a point behind that. And I want to know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, where would you want to go? I've
been to Africa once. I've been to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. That was enough.
Yeah, no.
I might go back for tourism and all that, but I'm very grateful.
Ticket to Ethiopia for free, I'd be like, no thanks.
Right? Yeah, I mean, so Jeff, your point was, is it because of shitty governance? No, it's because of shitty people, man. It's because of shitty people. That's why.
Are those people in the corrupt government? as well.
You got shitty people that live there. You got shitty people running the government. These people have 80 IQ if you're lucky. That's why they can't build shit.
That's just certain areas.
It's the entirety of the continent.
No,
the continent is like a fucking 70 IQ.
No, it's not.
It's lack of motivation.
Yes, it
lack of
is.
education.
No, dude, they're literally retarded. They're literally retarded.
Also, like the nutrition, not having clean water and stuff like that.
And whose
that can
fault
also
is that?
develop,
And the sister fucking. That's a thing.
No,
that's the point, Jeff. Like, if they're not developed, if they don't have clean water, if they don't have enough infrastructure to feed themselves, and
they're not going to be as intelligent.
Correct. Okay, and whose fault is that?
Theirs. It's their fault.
Because how many billions of dollars have America aided Africa already?
I don't know. I mean,
was this like $1 million, $2 million? How much?
A lot of conjecture.
Did it help?
Let's move on. Apollo.
Did it make him develop?
Apollo.
No, that's before.
Apollo. Let's move on. There's a lot of conjecture here. I don't like getting into conjecture. I want to stick to facts. I want to stick to data, and but it's just interesting, like just the way that history plays out and just how different. Because if rewind, for thousands of years, Egypt was, that the whole Middle East was the pinnacle of architecture, mathematics, literature, the sciences, all of alchemy, metallurgy.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
I don't agree with that at all. I don't think so. And I think
you don't have to. That it's the same thing as the definition of revenue. The rest of the world agrees with one thing.
So you want some facts?
Endless.
The average IQ for a sub-Saharan African is between 60 and 70.
That does not take away from the facts I just stated. That Egypt, for thousands of years, was a pinnacle of civilization. That the Middle East has been a crossroads for trade, for knowledge, for everything, for thousands of years. The first recorded civilization, organized civilization, was Mesopotamia in Iran. Not to say that there wasn't before that.
6,000 years ago.
The first record of written language was in that area. It shows that there is value there and that there is knowledge and there is wisdom.
Mike, do you believe that theory?
There was.
Do you believe that theory that humankind started in Africa?
Explain how none of that continent, other than Egypt, was ever developed. That's the questions we need to be asking.
I think Egypt was developed 12,000 years ago. I think that those pyramids and all that shit that was built,
they adopted them and refaced them, and there's
they defaced them.
But regardless, they were built on that soil. They were built in Africa, so
not by the people that lived there a couple thousand years ago.
We don't know that.
How far or how?
That's a good topic for a next
that?
program, like the pyramids and where did they actually come from?
Underneath the pyramids.
Oh yeah.
How long ago was that built? But all the labyrinths and stuff.
I still want to see more evidence than some echolocation images, because
but they've taken that technology and to other places. But let's just say
why haven't they tunneled down in there? You know what I mean? Show me. I'm from Missouri. Show me.
Yeah. Well, the Hoax has a big problem with them digging down in there and doing a lot of investigation. So he's a big stickler.
Like the minister of archaeology or something in Egypt or something like that. He's on Ancient Aliens. He's that.
Oh, okay.
But if there's something under the pyramids, how long before the pyramids was that actually developed? Because let's say the pyramid's 12,000 years old, and then you have this stuff that's underneath it that has got to be thousands of years older than that. I mean, if it was buried,
it doesn't have to, but I mean, it very well could be, because I mean that happens in a lot of civilizations where newer generations build upon the ruins. I mean, you see it all over in the Middle East and in Greece and stuff like that. Where it's obvious that the structures were built on foundations, much older foundations. I mean, they've done, actual samples and things like that, and they can tell by the weathering and the chemical composition and stuff like that, the tooling marks, and that they were done at different times. And so, I mean, that happens all the time. So, I mean, yeah, what's to say that there isn't an ancient civilization that existed even tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years ago?
Tartaria, isn't it what it's called? Have you guys heard of that?
Tartaria.
Yeah.
Isn't that in Russia?
There is a movie. Remember, we were talking about that movie. It's a movie called Died Suddenly. The same guy, Stu Peters, he has a movie called Old Road Order. And the thesis is that there was an ancient civilization way before us and that we built on top of them. And he shows a lot of facts and data. Are they believable? I don't know. But I think we all agree that maybe the official story. No, can we all agree on the following?
It's not allowed on the red pill. It's not allowed.
On the following, that the official story, might not be right.
Of course it's not right.
The official narrative.
100%. There is no way that everything that we know about history is fucking accurate. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, no.
We're going off oral history. We're going off things that were written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten and destroyed, rewritten from memory, destroyed again. There's no way that we have an accurate historical record of everything that happened. About the closest thing, and the reason I find religion so interesting, is religious scripts out of fear of their gods usually are more accurate, because they don't.
What exactly are you talking about?
They're not allowed to change any wording. They're not allowed to change anything. When the monks, used to transcribe and stuff like that, because they didn't have printing presses. They had to sit there and they did the artwork and they did all that stuff. So it was a sin. It was a sin to change the word of God. The Torah, same thing.
How do you? But you're talking about religious texts in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've studied Buddhism. I've studied Taoism. I've studied Judaism. The Jewish faith. I've studied Christianity.
And how can you know that they are more truthful? Because they were afraid of being punished by God.
It's just inherently they're going to be more accurate. I'm not saying they're 100% accurate, but they're going to be more accurate than, say, an oral tradition in some cultures.
Oh yes, definitely.
Every time the story is told, it's just natural. If you ever in that grade school
telephone game,
play that password game where you whisper something in somebody's ear and then they whisper it, and by the time it gets around. Yes. Telephone. Susie likes
a little older than us.
Yeah. It's in people's nature to embellish, to make the story more interesting and entertaining.
Agreed.
I think that's why we have the red pill. I think that's why we have the show, because for me, and that's why I'm so excited about talking about these things and hosting this show, because I'm pretty sure that the official narrative is incorrect.
And we got to be able to talk
about Africa and why Africa is Africa, about America and why America, about those like the moon landing, JFK, and all that. I'm really not sure.
Kandahar Giants.
Correct.
I don't know if you saw the Rogan episode.
That might be a thing.
The guy on Rogan today, they were talking about the Kandahar Giants.
Today? I need to look that up.
Everybody in the military that this guy has talked to, when he brings up Kandahar Giants, they go ghost white, and they're like, don't want to talk about it.
You're talking about today, that he was in Rogan?
Yeah. The story, I've heard the stories. The story is...
You've been in Kandahar, right, Mike?
No, I've never been to Kandahar.
Oh, maybe that was my brother. I think Rob was there. I'll have to ask him.
All right. What is my brother Jason sending me?
Uh-oh.
He's in the other room, so he's sending something degenerate, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Guys, it's so great that we can sit and just talk about this stuff. It really is, man.
Not in China. If we were in China, we were not be allowed to openly talk about these things.
We wouldn't have been able to in Kamala Harris's United States either.
All right.
Is that what your brother said?
Oh, you got to play the audio or the.
That's
Kinda
a
looks
dude.
like AI.
That's a fucking dude.
Are you lady or lady boy?
I'm a lady.
Really?
What
Isn't
does
that
it
AI?
matter? A cake is still a cake.
I would
wanna
say
waste a
lady.
candle.
Oh, look at the throat.
Look at the
See more of
length of the face. Look at how big her fucking head is.
Usually in Thailand, if you ask, they'll tell you. I mean, I've never really had an issue to be 100% honest, just because if I ever talked to a girl, I was just like, "Hey, are you a lady or a lady boy?" And they'd be like, because there's people that go there for that, so they're not ashamed of it. It's a very different culture. They're like cool with it, so they're not going to hide it from you.
Doesn't that look like AI?
Well,
That lady.
put it this way, if they're trying to pick up somebody in a bar, do they really want to lie to a dude, take him back to their place, and potentially get punched or something like that? Over there, they don't lie about stuff like that.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
I was joking. I was joking earlier,
probably,
but yeah, I mean, it's yeah. Anyway,
they probably also don't have parades where they march like that. They probably also don't read books to kids. They probably also don't teach children's classes in school.
Well, the thing is there's a difference. Like they're not trannies; they're born that way. Like they actually are hermaphrodites. Where they're born with that both the organs are.
When one isn't right when that happens, one of the
I'm not going to pretend to know everything about it. I know that it is a natural occurrence.
They're developed.
India is the same way. There's a high, a high propensity for hermaphroditic, friggin', qualities.
What causes that? Do you know?
I'm not a geneticist. I don't know. I just know from traveling that it's not something that you see, and a lot of times it probably happens more often here in the States too, but usually at birth they probably ask the parents. I've heard that they ask the parents, boy or girl.
Interesting, man. Would you be able to fuck yourself?
Go fuck yourself. Oh, okay.
Like I got both. I mean
yeah, maybe they never leave the house. That's why you never see them.
You know what I really dislike about AI is
here comes David. Here comes David.
AI is trained on bullshit data.
Yeah.
Yes. So if I ask it a question, especially about anything, even remote,
IQ,
anything
politically sensitive, it gives you bullshit.
Yeah.
So I just asked it, like, what's the likelihood of someone being born a hermaphrodite? And it's giving me between 1 in 2,000 and 1 in 20,000, and that sounds really high to me. That sounds really high.
Like I said, in most developed countries, I think that they, it's able to be like corrected or something. But when it comes to a lot of these, undeveloped countries, it's not a thing. And there's a lot of stories like in Native American cultures, where whenever anyone was born, that kind of both male and female, they usually ended up being a shaman because they saw it as somebody that was born to.
What a twist!
What's that?
What a twist!
Well, no, but they really. I mean, you can look it up.
You're in touch with like both sides.
Yeah, the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, the duality, of nature. And they saw them as being more in tune, and it's
a rarity for sure.
Medicine
it's
women,
something rare.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
No, but I mean, like I said, if somebody's born that way, then that's how you're born. To me, it's just. Yeah,
but they say that even hermaphrodites, they are not born like 50-50. It's like 6. Yeah, there's a tendency more towards male or female.
There's some that like don't even know, like some Olympic athletes. They've actually in the past they stripped their medals because they found some of them they presented like a woman, but whenever they did like further tests, they had really high testosterone, and they found out they actually had testicles, but they were up in their abdomen. So they didn't know that they were there their whole lives, but it produced, and that's why they were more muscular, and they were able to outperform other women, is they basically were getting natural testosterone from the way they were born.
Did you guys see the video of that fat Muslim chick who's fucking doing like a bench press?
Oh, dude, she's like shrugging her shoulders, and they were trying
that part out.
I did
She's
see
like,
that.
Oh, dude, it wasn't even that much. You're giving her way too much credit.
Not even, yeah.
Dude, she was like this, and she was just like flexing her shoulders, and she wasn't even moving her hands, dude.
That was crazy.
And it's not hermaphrodite anymore. It's outdated and scientifically inaccurate. It's intersex.
Oh.
They're called intersex.
That's my problem with this fucking AI bull.
We got to update our vocabulary.
That's my problem with definitions of words.
Yes.
Is words need to mean something that's universally accepted. You can't just make up words or change the definition of words because of how you feel. It's like,
for me, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Whenever they come up with a new word like sorority or whatever, I say, yeah, that's probably like there's an agenda behind it.
Not a new word.
No.
No, but making up words, it's like when people don't understand what
I'm talking about the whole.
I'm glad you bring that up. That's exactly because everywhere I look, it like online, like every primary source defines revenue pretty distinctly, but David is the only one that doesn't agree.
So
David is the only one that kind of like a Trump dude that wants to say that he's a woman.
Swap fees are not protocol revenue, bro. Sorry to break it to you. You know,
dude, there is plenty of primary sources that disagree with you.
Sure. Well, show me those fucking aerodrome revenues.
I have multiple times live on the show. Feel free to go back and watch the show.
Hey, can we get the aerodrome founders on the show one day?
I have been trying.
That would be fucking great.
I have been trying. They will not respond to me.
Yeah, that's a red flag, man.
To be fair, I haven't really seen them on anything unless they host it.
That's a red flag too.
Honestly, it kind of is.
It is.
I like me. I'll fucking admit it. Yeah, it's like I'll admit if something it doesn't feel right or is shady, or even if it's Arrow is my largest bag. I fully fucking admit that they don't do fucking interviews and stuff. I mean, we're just a small channel, but I've never seen them on large channels.
That's a good point, Mike.
Unless they control the environment, which I do not like.
That's a red flag.
Aerodrome, if you hear me, I'm calling you out.
That's right.
Yeah, we calling you.
I'll be right
Come
back.
on the node.
So here's the thing, you guys. Swap fees in a liquidity pool are not protocol revenue. Okay? Period. Full stop.
Did the protocol earn money?
Okay, so the protocol did not earn money. It did not earn money. What Aerodrome does is a fugazi. Arrow is a fugazi coin. If I swap within a liquidity pool and a fee is generated, I think even then it'll probably be bullshit. So if I swap in a liquidity pool and a fee is generated, and that fee is then swapped into Arrow, and as the LP I get Arrow, that is not protocol revenue. That is not protocol revenue. I'm going to keep.
So I think. Let's see if I understand what David is saying. So let's say.
Hold on. I know exactly what he's saying.
This is going to be
the
probable force versus
Hold on. I'm the Arrow guy here. So, but I've corrected David multiple times on this. You can collect those fees in either Arrow or the native assets. It's your choice if you stake or not. And yes, they are minting Arrow. And if you look at how it's paid out, the fees go to the VE Arrow holders. Or excuse me. Hold on. Let me look it up.
There's a lot of incentive for you to stake, because if you don't stake, you get paid like a fraction of
it's Fugazinomics.
Okay, so let's see if I follow what David is saying. So let's say I have a liquidity pool on Aerodrome, and it's staked because I want to make more money in total, and I'm getting $10 out of that LP. A bunch of people are doing the same, so it will amount to millions of. And we can decide if it's a revenue or whatever. But I'm getting that $10. Okay, and that a percentage of that is going to go to Aerodrome, correct?
A very small percentage of it does.
Okay, so maybe that revenue, that part.
That's my whole point, Paulo. So Paulo just got to my whole point. That's my whole point.
We can speculate all we want, but this is how the dispersions are paid out. So swappers, they pay swap fees, and it goes to the VE Aero locks. That's where those fees go, because 100% of the fees go to back to the protocol. External protocols will pay bribes, so that's
the fees do not go back to the protocol. They go back to the VE Aero lockers, not to the protocol.
They go to the protocol. The protocol disperses them to VE Aero holders.
Mike, you're missing
sure about that?
You're missing it.
No,
so
I'm not.
So if I'm a VE Aero locker, and by directing my voting power, I determine where those aero emissions go, which pool those aero emissions go to
by voting.
So that's Fugazinomics right there. So if I'm the LP, right, and I provide liquidity
when
to a
you
pool,
vote, your liquidity is going to that LP. And so by providing liquidity, but providing real value, you are getting paid a portion of the fees relative to the amount of liquidity that you are providing. That sounds pretty solid to me.
Swap fees are not protocol revenue.
It is money that is generated by the business. So dividends,
that money that's been generated, the greatest part of it is going back to the market maker.
So dividends that are paid to people who own stocks, is that not revenue at some point?
Completely different, Mike.
No, it's
completely
not.
Different.
A
Completely
business
different.
generates money. That money is paid to people that provide liquidity.
Completely different, bro.
How?
If I'm an LP, I'm the LP. My liquidity is used to facilitate a swap. A fee is generated. That fee I should earn as the LP. That is not protocol revenue. The protocol revenue
You keep saying
is,
it's not, but you're not explaining why.
So here, can I bring up trading view so I can draw it out?
I mean, you can draw it out. I've watched you draw. Actually, I don't want to do that because it's going to take a bunch of time, and we've done it many times on the show, and you haven't convinced me.
Okay, so let me tell you what protocol revenue is. If I'm on Hyperliquid and I trade on Hyperliquid, and there is a small fee that is generated on every trade, the protocol earns that fee directly. That is protocol revenue. If I'm on Aerodrome and I provide liquidity, and my liquidity is used to facilitate a swap, and that swap comes back to me as the LP, that is not protocol revenue.
Here is the official definition. In financial and business terms, revenue, often called the top line, is the total amount of money or value a business or protocol generates from its core operations and activities over a given period before any expenses, costs, or taxes are deducted.
Which is very different from profit. I think that the term that we need to look for is profit. So how profitable is Aerodrome?
I would agree with that.
Yeah, we can change the words. It's okay. Words are tools. We can just change what we're looking for. What we want to know is if Aerodrome is a profitable business. That's the real question.
Is a different discussion. Yes, I would agree with that. Now, would I consider it profit? No, because it's being paid out. It's a line item
through Fugazinomics. So
you're using buzzwords like the XRP people, brother.
I mean, Aero is a Fugazi protocol. That's why the guys who run it won't show up on any legit podcasts.
That like I said, that I do not like about it, but that does not necessarily automatically mean that the whole thing is a Fugazi.
But don't you guys agree that the real question is Aerodrome profitable? Yes or no?
No.
It depends. That can be debated because of how,
it's not.
That's the real question.
Look at the
Hyperliquid is profitable.
If you go to DeFi Llama and look at the earnings report, it are showing negative. So like I said, I'm all about facts. I'm all about I want to make sure everyone gets good information. So yes, according to DeFi Llama, if we go off the earnings report that David has pulled up, 100%. They're operating at a loss.
So let me get something in here real quick. So
I think
the
that's the point.
LPs, swap fees. Okay, so Aerodrome's protocol revenue is that small portion of every swap that Aerodrome, the protocol, keeps. That is protocol revenue.
Oh, it's actually not even profit because the 5% that they keep actually is what they max lock. So in all intents,
which is retarded. It's retarded for them to do that. But that
they earn yield off of it. You know, which we can talk about.
It's like
that
their version of burning the token.
But not even. It's not even a burn though. It's not even a burn. So
and I can agree with that. We can.
It's not
on that. We can probably agree because it's not taken out of existence. It's just taken out of circulation. And
then there's more minted. So Aerodrome's protocol revenue is the small portion of every swap that they keep and lock. That is their protocol revenue, not the entire swap fee. The entire swap fee is not their protocol revenue, and that's the big problem with
official and
Aerodrome's
business
numbers.
terms. Revenue, often called the top line, is the amount of money or value a business or protocol generates from its core operations and activities over a given period before any expenses, costs, or taxes are deducted.
If Aerodrome was keeping every cent of a swap fee generated,
it doesn't matter how much
that would be their revenue.
Before
that would be their revenue.
Before any expenses, costs, or taxes are deducted.
So I guess by your definition, the $374 million in Aerodrome protocol revenue, by your definition, what they actually keep from that is a tiny fraction of that figure.
Yeah, it's 5%.
So whenever you see that Aerodrome generated $370 million in protocol revenue, that's bullshit.
No,
it's bullshit. It is.
That's what they generated.
Bullshit.
Before expenses, costs, and taxes are deducted. If they made $365 million, it's like, they might be operating at a loss. They might be operating at a loss after expenses, costs, and taxes are deducted.
You would call
the LPs did.
So by what you're saying, Mike, the money that the market makers, that the people that were in a liquidity pool, the money that they make would be an expense for Aerodrome.
Technically, yes.
Okay, and then they got a cut.
And I mean, but that's the Fugazi-nomics. Does that make it a security?
That's the Fugazi-nomics of Aero.
No, and we can get into a totally different discussion on the endless, the ability to endlessly mint a token. That's a totally different discussion. But the definition of revenue, that's
okay. So that's probably why they haven't released the new tokenomics yet, because they haven't figured out how to take it from Fugazi-nomics.
Okay, so now
that could be.
When are they going to release
the only thing I am debating right now, I'm not going to get off of it. The only thing that I'm debating right now is the very simple definition of revenue.
Yeah, but you're misunderstanding what a swap fee is. A swap fee is not protocol revenue.
Business or protocol.
If Aerodrome was keeping every cent of
that swap
fee, that would be their protocol.
Before any expenses, costs, or taxes are deducted. That's what I love about
it. It depends on the definition, David, because if you believe that the money that I make as an LP, as a liquidity provider, is considered an expense to Aerodrome, the protocol, okay, that might be the revenue. Okay. However, we can agree that it's misleading, because when people
extremely
we can agree that's misleading, because people say,
and it's not protocol revenue. A swap fee is not protocol revenue.
Because it looks like, look at all the money that they're making. That's what it looks like.
It is,
but it's not real.
It is liquidity that people are providing for a good or service. It is the same thing as me handing a $10 bill for a cup of coffee.
Okay, so having said that, we all agree on those terms now. What are you guys disagreeing on now? What's the point of this?
I don't think that we agree on
the definition of revenue.
Because a swap fee is not protocol revenue. If you go over to Uniswap and you provide liquidity, you earn
even
those
if it's considered an expense. Even if it's considered an expense to the protocol.
But that's the Fugazi-nomics of Aerodrome.
Okay, so we can call it Fugazi-nomics or tokenomics if you like, Aero.
Yeah, well, I mean, they exchange your swap fee
Again,
Arrow.
I've corrected you multiple times on this. You don't have to take Arrow. You can take, if you're in an ETH USDC pool, you can accept ETH USDC. Yes.
But you're going to get paid much less.
You get 10% less. Absolutely. They incentivize people to take Arrow.
Yeah.
You know
But
what we
you have
should
a
do?
choice. But you
We
have a
should
choice.
drill down, Mike, on what Aerodrome's actual protocol revenues are. Like, how much do they actually keep? How much do they actually
5%.
keep?
5%.
Okay, that's not $374 million.
No. But that's not the
Okay.
definition of revenue. It's
Swap-
the definition of revenue is
protocol
before expenses, costs, and taxes are deducted.
Swap fees are not protocol revenue.
You keep saying that, doesn't make it a fact. You know, a guy in a
It is
dress
a
can say
fact.
I'm a woman. Doesn't make it a fact.
I don't know, bro.
It depends
Swap
how good
fees
the wig
aren't
is.
protocol revenue. So
You
here's
keep
an
saying
example.
that, but like I said,
Uniswap-
anybody
Uniswap
that's
V4.
watching this show can go to Google, they can go to Webster, they can go to any investing.
Sure, they can do whatever they
any
want.
investing
It's not. It's
you
not
can
going
go
to
to
give them.
college.
It's
and
not going to
learn-
give them 5 years of professional liquidity provision. Okay, so
Dude,
look,
there's
when
people
you-
that have decades and lifetimes of experience,
So,
and they're the ones that
not-
came up with the
not as an
definition.
LP. Not as an LP. Okay, this context is important. If
Or
you're on
protocol.
Uniswap V4, if you're on
Or-
Uniswap,
or protocol.
okay, so if you're on Uniswap V4, right, and Uniswap, I think, has a new proposal, like a new fee switch proposal, where they're proposing that the Uniswap protocol on V4 keeps 30% of all swap fees
Doesn't matter
generated.
how much they keep. It matters how much the
does.
protocol generated before they
does.
decided to keep a certain percent.
If Uniswap V4 LPs receive 30% less, that 30% that Uniswap keeps, that is Uniswap's protocol revenue.
No, it's not, because the definition of revenue is before expenses, costs, and taxes are deducted. It's everything that the protocol made. And then you can, come up, we can talk about the different definitions of what's paid out in the different ways due to the tokenomics and mechanics.
Yeah,
But
David, because for what
revenue
Mike is saying is that whatever it gets paid as an LP
Net
provider
revenue.
is an expense.
Exactly. Just like
I'm
dividends.
not saying that it is. I will tell you what I know. I tell you that whenever I open DeFi Llama and see those numbers, they look like they're meant to be misleading, and that the protocol's making a bunch of money.
We need to do a deep dive. Me and David need to do a deep dive on the node, and like actually, that's something we should do on.
We should.
trenches. We should do it on the trenches, and I'm more than happy to do it on Aerodrome. I would love to see it, but what I would love to do is actually just go through all these data, websites and like dig deep and find out where are they pulling this data? How accurate?
Can we see that on Dune? Can we see more of that tokenomics on Dune?
The problem with Dune is that a lot of those dashboards are created by individuals.
I could go on there and build one, and I could make it display however I wanted.
Right. Yeah.
But it looks so good.
So my whole point is
super professional.
So does the lady boy sometimes in Thailand, but that doesn't mean
When I'm on Dune and I'm checking like Aerodrome tokenomics, I feel like a real pro.
So here, let me ask you this question then. Let me pose this.
You feel like that you have like an inside, look at
Doesn't
the
it look
data.
like that?
Like you have an insider advantage.
Yeah,
it's that emotion. It's that endorphin. It's that feeling. Like in marketing. We always like whenever I ran a marketing company, there's endorphins, and then there's another. I forget. There's another chemical your body releases that makes you feel like, and it's the reason people are so tribal.
I remember I was in meetings with David, and people would say, "No, come on, it's a Wednesday. They're gonna release that information on Dune right now. It's a Wednesday evening, and at that time, so we can see what the bribes are and what's gonna
happen." The way
happen."
that people are manipulated is if they feel like they're part of something, and if they get like an endorphin rush. So that's why gambling and stuff like that, and especially like sports teams and things like that, because if you're wearing the jersey and like you're a part of the group, you're all like a part of the tribe. If you like a certain band, then like people bond over that. It's ingrained in our DNA, and they use it in marketing and in psyops to manipulate people. And I think that they probably are doing that, and maybe this might be a red pill thing too. Maybe big money is using DeFi Llama and a lot of these platforms to manipulate retail investors to thinking certain ways, so that, because I mean, look how manipulated the fucking crypto markets are. We can all
look at how the DeFi Llama data looks for Canton. You know, it looks like some shit, but it's not. That's not real though. You know,
because, if we didn't dig that day, we wouldn't have found out they don't include RWAs.
Right. So here, let me pose this scenario. Okay. If there's a pool, right, and swaps are facilitated in that pool, and 100% of those swap fees go to LPs, did the protocol earn any revenue?
Nice segue, David. Nice segue.
Did it? Did it? If there are fees generated in the pool and none of it goes to the protocol, it all goes to LPs as it should. Did the protocol earn any revenue?
It wouldn't be profit. It'd be revenue because it was generated by the protocol. Somebody paid for a good or service. It was processed through the protocol, and then it was routed to the liquidity provider.
Okay.
So at that point, you would consider any volume in a protocol as revenue.
Right. That's bullshit. So if I'm the protocol,
according
right?
to like 99% of the world.
Okay. So if let's say that I create a DEX, right? And we call it Dave's DEX, right? And I've got all these pools, and all of these fees are generated in the pools. And all of those fees, 100% of those fees, go back to the LPs as they should. And then I say, I'm Dave's DEX, right? I say, oh, look, my protocol generated $1 billion in revenue.
Yeah.
I didn't keep any of it.
Yeah.
Is
they
that
made no
protocol
profit.
revenue?
They made no profit, but they generated a shit ton of revenue.
I don't think the protocol generated that revenue. I think that
it provided the place for people to come. They provided the service for people to come and facilitate it, to provide liquidity, and for a place and the mechanism to swap.
I think Aerodrome's protocol revenue is what they keep when a swap is executed. And it seems like it's 5%.
I would think that would be more along the lines of like the 5% they keep could be considered profit.
I think
do we know
their
that for
real
a fact?
protocol revenue.
Dude, I looked it up. I've done it multiple times.
I understand, but do we know that they keep 5%?
I'm pretty sure that is the figure.
No, that's 100%.
I think that is protocol revenue. I think that's revenue. I think that's protocol revenue, because I think that they still have expenses on that shit. Because if they're taking that 5% and swapping it for Arrow, and then they're taking that Arrow and locking it,
then their profit would be even less than the 5%. It wouldn't change the definition of revenue. It's just if they keep 5% and 2% of that goes to operating.
I think that Aerodrome is a massive loss-making business.
And you know what? And that could be. All I'm talking about is the definition of revenue. You know,
and I don't think that swap
the rest of
fees
it, but hey, I'm not going to let that distract.
Yeah, I just think that the context here
is what it is. You know,
yeah, but I think that the definition doesn't take into account the context, because if you're facilitating it does. If you're facilitating a swap, I don't think that's revenue.
I mean, I'll read it again in case anybody joined us. In financial and business terms, revenue, often called top line, is the total amount of money or value a business or protocol generates from its core operations and activities over a given period before any expenses, costs, or taxes are deducted. It's pretty cut and dry.
I think that you are misunderstanding liquidity provision.
Then 99% of the world is misunderstanding liquidity provision.
Jeff, let me ask you a question.
It could be true that they are.
And that could be, but words have meaning. And when the majority of people, if I say that the sky is blue and you're colorblind and you say, no, it's green, it doesn't change the fact that it's blue. Just you see it as green. Yeah, you can see it.
I think that if I'm on Uniswap, if I'm
Let
on
me check this
Uniswap,
with Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, how much of your portfolio do you have in Arrow?
Oh, no, I was out of the market for a while, so I'm just getting back in.
Jeff just thinks it's a Fugazi, so he's not going to invest in it. he's a David zealot.
I'm only in Canton right now. I'm only getting back into Canton right now. And
I don't know.
I wanted.
And don't get me wrong. Anybody that's watching us, I greatly appreciate like the insight that David gives, because it really does. It challenges me to look deeper into Arrow all the time, so that so that I can have these like intelligent debates. That's what we're about here. Is with the red pill on non-crypto stuff. We always gravitate back.
I think I know we are getting to the end of our conversation.
I want to make sure that people understand this about the channel, and so that's why we encourage that in the chat. We encourage that on the channel with guests. What do they call that? Something discourse. Healthy discourse.
Yeah.
So basically, being able to challenge each other's points of view, cite sources, cite facts, and hold each other to account. And that's what I expect Paulo to do, is make sure that we're citing our sources, that that we're staying on point, and have a healthy debate. That is what builds great civilizations. When you start ignoring facts, and you start allowing things to be run by emotions and feelings, that's when shit gets chaotic. That's when you get zealots, and that's when you get like when you get like the dark ages and stuff like that, is when just everybody gets in that emotional state. So that's what we're trying to do here, is in crypto and with this conspiracy stuff, is we're trying to open up dialogue to where people can have adult conversations about adult topics without getting butthurt and trying to like censor each other.
Exactly. We need to be able to speak openly and honestly about what we believe to be true. And we need
even
to be
if it's about XRP.
Fuck XRP.
I would tend to agree with David on this one.
Yeah.
I feel like you two are the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Oh yeah, and it's always going to be that way, and I love it.
Just that one thing, though.
It's all good.
It's like with David and Colin on Israel.
But Mike, let me ask you this: is Aerodrome going to release a new tokenomics for a fact? Is that going to happen? And do you happen to know when?
No, I mean, if they release a new token, they're going to have to at some point.
Maybe sometime a couple of years from now. It's how about next September?
Well, I mean, as long as I know what the tokenomics, I mean, to be honest.
And why are they going to change it?
I don't have a choice.
It's a real question. Why are they going to change it?
I don't have a choice.
You're locked up.
My tokens are locked, and so whatever the tokenomics are, they are what they are. So I've accepted that. I've come to terms with it. It's just like that's the part of investing in these speculative assets so early.
Can I ask you, how long are they locked for?
Investing in crypto, if you're investing in these speculative assets, you need to understand that this is a still very evolving ecosystem. And you need to understand that tokenomics change, and that's what you're investing in. You're not investing in the company. You're investing in the token and what the token can do for you.
You see what Deadwood's asking? What's Arrow changing?
Oh, he knows. He's just poking the bear. Deadwood is fully knowledgeable about what's going on with fucking Arrow.
But how could he be? Because no one's put out any information about these new tokenomics. Like, how is it changing? I still have no idea.
Oh, dude, we've covered on the show that there is some stuff that's been freaking released. Let's not get fucking dramatic.
Well, me and you did a whole thing last year.
Let's not get dramatic here. So yes, there is much that is left to be desired when it comes to information about the new tokenomics,
right?
The UX and the UI of the new. Dude, you know me. I'll admit where shit needs to be admitted, but there is information that has been released that we've given out multiple times on the show.
Yeah, I'm asking you this, Mike, because it's not only to tease you; it's because I think whenever they release this new tokenomics, it's going to be a real interesting piece of information. I just wonder why they want to change. Why did they announce, we're going to change our tokenomics? Why?
Well, because they're releasing a new token. They merged Drome and Aerodrome. And so, they're launching a whole new protocol, a whole new platform with new functionality, multi-chain.
All doing away with the B33 model, right?
They're doing away with the BE33 model. And they're putting some things in place that mitigate a lot of the the MEV auctions and things like that, the REV engine. A lot of the things that they're integrating
and allowing a place for you to buy locks, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a
supposedly
marketplace.
they're going to have a marketplace that's actually on the protocol to where, like,
Right.
if you need to access that liquidity, that you can take out loans, against your locks.
That cannot
Very
be a bad
excited about
thing.
that stuff
That's not a bad thing.
if it comes to full fruition, because until it's launched, we're just, trust me, bro. And let's
Right.
be honest, it's trust me, bro. So, like I said, I will fully admit where there is, like I said, I'm not like a zealot when it comes to any of the assets I hold. I'm fully aware and fully knowledgeable about what I'm investing in, but people out there need to understand the same. You are investing in a highly speculative, highly volatile, highly manipulated market right now.
So my big problem with Aerodrome is when I see Aerodrome's revenue listed right up there with Hyperliquid. Those two things are not the same, not even close. And so that's my
Name
big
any
problem.
two protocols and any two tokens that are apples and apples. Out of all the deep dives that we've done, name me any two projects that are exactly the fucking same.
A lot of perp dexes have very similar models for revenue generation,
but not the same.
Same, but different.
Hey, forget about No, but I mean, you'll be honest. It's dude, every fucking token, every freaking protocol, every token, some are governance, some have this utility, that utility. Some of them share protocols, some are protocols, some of them are some of them are supposed to be AI driven. Some of them have subnets. Some of them are DAGs. It's like they're all fucking different in some way, dude.
Yeah, it's just that when I see that list that you shared, maybe earlier today or yesterday, where it's got Tether on top, then Circle. I mean, hey, Tether and Circle, that's revenue. When they earn yield from treasuries, that's revenue. They keep that. Yeah. And then you see
it's not a matter of keep. Revenue, the definition is that is generated. So any like revenue that they generate, from that yield from the treasuries and all
so
that.
Here, let me be a little bit more precise with my language. Okay. I think it's very misleading when I see Aerodrome on the same list as Tether, Circle, and Hyperliquid.
I can agree with that.
Because I think that is extremely misleading.
I don't think that has anything to do with Aero being a Fugazi. That just has to do with that there is a lot that needs to be aligned in this new emerging technology. Because
why don't you see Uniswap on these lists then?
On what list?
I didn't see Uniswap on that list.
On what list?
Tether, Circle, Hyperliquid, then Aerodrome's on there. I didn't see Uniswap on there.
I can't answer to that. I didn't make.
You know why? Because they don't claim every penny. I think the reason. This is what I think. I think the reason is that Uniswap does not claim that every cent that's generated as a swap fee is their revenue. That's what I think.
I don't think that's what it is. Because if these platforms are pulling raw data, they're not asking Uniswap, what do you want to report? They're just freaking pulling, whatever, it was generated from, the fees.
I guess my only point is that I think that it's very misleading. That's all.
And you know what? And we can debate that separately.
And you know what I did like? But before the show today, I actually put out version 1.0. Like if you're in the Intel library and you take a look at any of the pieces of deep dive research, you'll be able to see.
I was excited to see it, and I actually looked, but I was meaning to tell you I got an error.
Yes, there's an error. Yep. So it's version 1.0. And so right now, what I have to do is make sure that all of the APIs that feed that thing, and there's only 4 of them. So all of the APIs that feed that thing right there, the token price model. So there's 4 APIs that feed that thing. It's like DeFi Llama, CoinGecko, Binance, and the chain that it's on.
Tomorrow, I'm going to stop procrastinating. Tomorrow, I'm doing a deep dive. I'm going to see if I can do a prompt. I'm going to write a prompt that is going to do a deep dive on how do the major data aggregators in crypto, how accurate and where do they pull their data from? Something along those lines.
So what I'm doing with this token price model is I'm using crypto specific, crypto, DeFi, Web3, digital asset specific valuation metrics, and all of our source documentation for every protocol coin token that we've ever reviewed in the Intel library. I'm taking the source documentation because most of those pieces of source documentation have like actual mathematical models in them. So I'm taking the source documentation and then I'm pulling real-time data from 4 APIs and using that to inform the model to generate a price model for every single one of the coins, tokens, projects that we've reviewed in the Intel library. So we'll have something to look at. Whether it will be valuable or not, I have no idea. But I think it'll be interesting at the very least. So,
absolutely. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I got my brother visiting, and I want to go hang out with him. We've been going for over 2 hours now.
We've been going hard, man.
No, but dude, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this episode.
I love this stuff.
Yeah.
What do you guys think for next episode? We can talk about financial lies. It was one of the suggested topics about are financial crashes artificially engineered? Because they might be. We will never know, but we can look at the data and compare
let's talk about it on the community.
What community?
The what community?
Yeah,
right
check
here.
it out.
Yeah, you know what? And anybody that's watching, go to the node.pro and anything you want us to talk about here on the Red Pill. Come in here. This is free. It doesn't cost you anything. The DeFi, DeFi University. If you want to learn about traditional finance, fiat, if you want to learn about crypto, DeFi, we don't charge anything for this. It's all structured with tests and quizzes. Come check it out. Just freaking. Again, there's no tricks, no gimmicks. You don't got to give a credit card. Just go through and educate yourself. The community, again, free. Come in here. Tell us what you want us to talk about during the next Red Pill.
Free speech, no censorship.
Of what you want us to do a deep dive on the node or on something like that.
But Mike, depending on what people's going to suggest when they join the source, they can be banned because there are some topics that are forbidden.
The only topic that's forbidden is stuff that's obviously inappropriate. You know?
Yeah. Like if you're trying to post pictures of children or something like that,
sex acts or anything like that. That's absolutely not. But just keep it crypto and DeFi. Keep it, whatever.
Red Pill. Yeah.
Conspiracies.
Yeah.
And then the Intel library. If you're interested in crypto and you're thinking about investing in anything, again, 100% free. Come check this out. The node.pro. Like I said, we're not shilling anything. We don't charge for it. David put a lot of work into building this stuff and is giving it away.
Super
valuable. The reason why we're giving it away is to build an audience, to build a community. And then because during the next bowl, I think that we'll do really well together because we'll all have an education in Web3 and DeFi and crypto that no one else has.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the trifecta.
That's right.
Yes. Dude, I've been loving that. We've been talking about the trifecta. We didn't call it the trifecta, but we've been talking about value capture for probably 5 months now. And now I'm starting to see it everywhere. Institutions are starting to talk about it when it comes to valuating these tokens. If they have value capture or not.
Right.
So we were ahead of the ball on that. We were ahead of the ball on Aave by 2 weeks, Zcash by a day, and there's a bunch of other people can say what they want about AI, but we've sniffed out some pretty significant events with these deep dives and they're AI generated. So they might be 95% accurate. You still need to do some of your own research, but by dismissing it because one little thing was wrong, I
like the trifecta very much. Do you guys know any asset, any coin, any project that failed, that passed the trifecta with flying colors and crashed and burned?
Not yet.
I can't think of one.
Not yet. Everyone that we've covered.
That's David a good position to be in it.
Well, David has gone through the chart. and has shown repeatedly that it has outperformed Bitcoin. It's
Right.
outperformed the overall markets almost without fail. It's kind of uncanny. So anyway,
Now,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
am kind of concerned about hype though with that Clarity
Yeah.
Act. Yeah.
well,
But unless
again,
maybe one thing,
all of these
maybe
assets have risk.
maybe
I mean,
if it has like a big red flag, like it's highly inflationary, that might be a point.
but again, it depends on the nuances of the tokenomics. Does it have a burn mint, mechanism? Does it? There's so many nuances. It until the definitions of words or new words are created for this technology, you have to have words that you can agree on, and the overall consensus is like with me and David with our debate is what's being adopted right now. It could change, but what's being adopted right now is revenue is everything that's generated by a protocol. What's done after that, 100%. We can debate.
I think maybe what's happening is Aerodrome is mislabeling revenue. That's what I think could be happening.
And I'll be honest, like right now in my altered state, I would say that could be a possibility, but I'm not able to have that discussion right now.
See. Yeah. I'll keep building out that model, and then we'll have actual data points to speak to.
Okay.
Exactly. That's all I ask. And then, like I said, tomorrow I even put an exclamation point next to it.
Oh, shit.
No, but I do. I want to do a deep dive on data aggregators. The major data aggregators that we use and that most people use.
DeFi Llama and RWA.xyz. We can start there.
All of them. I want to. I'm going to build a prompt, and I'm going to have it go through and scrub and be like, all right, how accurate is the data that we're getting from these? Is it total fugazi? Maybe the data that we're looking at is fucking fugazi. We've been looking at these protocols and ignoring the data aggregators the whole time, and we're being fed a line of bullshit from the aggregators.
I certainly hope not. But
do we know if DeFi Llama gets their data straight from the blockchain? Do we know the source?
No
idea.
You just have to tune in tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow morning.
Tune in tomorrow and find out.
That's the question.
Trying to end this show, man. This has been a great red pill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we get? Do you guys think we can get your final thoughts then?
All right.
All right, Jeff. Final thoughts on the moon landing and revenue. What is the definition of revenue?
Fucking Paulo just wants this thing to last 4 fucking hours.
A lot of things. I think the moon landing was fake, and don't believe everything you see, and listen twice as much as you speak.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So I guess my final thoughts are that I think that if you really want to build a skill set and you want to be successful and you want to become sovereign, that, you know what, you've got to stand guard at the doorway of your mind and don't let in bullshit. And then that means you've also got to seek out sources of truth, and you've got to be willing to figure it out for yourself at some point. So the way to do that, educate yourself, man. Hop on over to the Node.pro, hop into the Intel library, go through the courses, learn. That's the way to do it.
It's pronounced David.
That's right.
Mike, final thoughts on moon landing and revenue. Definition of
moon landing is bullshit, but it's not necessarily revenue. Kind of along the lines. I'm going to piggyback a little bit on David. Integrity and honor. It's seek out information from people that have integrity and honor, because people that have integrity and honor respect facts, logic, reason. People that are overly emotional, people that allow their emotions to dictate their actions, their behavior, they're erratic. They don't care about facts. They don't care about logic. Look at the world around you. Seek out, and I'm not saying that we're perfect, but seek out places like us that it's going to tell you the truth. Even if it leads to my death, I will tell you the truth. If I'm not going to shill a token because I hold it, I'm going to tell you I hold it, and I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. A lot of the stuff that David has said about Aerodrome, I agree with. There's a lot of bearish stuff that you can point out about Aerodrome, and for that matter, any project. We did deep dives on Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
Don't pass our trifecta. You know, they don't have value capture. So seek out people that say things you don't like.
Right.
That is going to give you a better understanding and a richer understanding of those subjects and life in general. Always seek out discomfort. The greatest growth comes from discomfort. If you are constantly in a comfort bubble, you never grow, you never evolve, you never change, you never improve. So that's what I'm going to end up.
Keep pushing. Okay, great final thoughts. All right. And I agree with you guys. You know, let's keep talking about that and debunking so we can know what actually happened during the moon landing and what's the real definition of revenue is. Well, guys, thanks for watching, and I see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Till next time.